You are standing at a threshold, and beyond it lies every possibility you could ever want. The only thing that stands between you and what you're reaching for isn't circumstance, luck, or timing. It's the way you're using your own mind. Somewhere along the way, you were taught that transformation has to be slow, that you need to be patient, that things unfold when they're meant to. But here's the truth. Time, as you've been taught to think of it, is an illusion. The instant you truly claim something as yours, something in the universe responds, and what you desire moves from being a hope to being present in your awareness, not as a far-off possibility, not as something you're crossing your fingers for, as something that already belongs to you. See it clearly. Feel it fully. Know it without question. Everything you experience in the world outside of you is simply the outward expression of what you've assumed on the inside. Whatever you accept as true within your own consciousness has no choice but to eventually show up in physical form. So don't beg for it. Don't plead for it. The moment you desire something, you're admitting it isn't here yet. But the moment you assume it's already yours, you're declaring its presence into being. So assume it, right now. Step fully into the feeling of the wish already fulfilled. Let the satisfaction settle into you, as though the outcome has already happened. Ask yourself, how would you carry yourself? How would you speak? How would you breathe if this thing you want had already arrived? Become that version of you. Live from there. Think of the world as a mirror. It simply reflects back whatever assumption you hold on to most strongly. When doubt shows up, don't argue with it. Just meet it with quiet certainty instead. Rest in the feeling that it's already been done. You don't need to force anything or push the outcome into existence. Your only real work is to accept it, to feel it, to know it as fact. The instant you're in alignment with that fulfilled reality, everything around you has to rearrange itself to match what you're holding inside. Give it an hour. Something will shift. Maybe it's a sign, a message, an unexpected opportunity. But more than anything, you yourself will have changed. And when you change, your world has no choice but to follow. So take your place in your own power. Assume it, feel it, and watch as things that once looked impossible start bending easily in your favor. The physical world you perceive with your senses isn't nearly as fixed or as solid as you've been led to believe. What you can touch, hear, or otherwise sense is really just a reflection, a mirror of whatever you're holding on the inside. Your entire life isn't built on outside events. It's built on the images, feelings, and assumptions you privately entertain in your own mind. If you want to change your life, that's the truth you have to grasp first. Imagination is the only reality there is. Everything that currently exists in your life started off as a thought nobody could see, a flicker of an image, a passing feeling that stuck around long enough to become permanent. Your task isn't to wrestle with the world outside. It's to take command of the world inside, trusting completely that the outer world will eventually fall in line. Take a look around you right now. Your home, your relationships, the general shape of your life, all of it existed first as an idea, a belief, a state you occupied internally, before it ever solidified into what you now call your reality. Most people never realize that life doesn't simply happen to them. They are the ones happening to life. You are the cause. The world is only the effect. Whenever you hold on to an idea or a vision and feel it strongly enough, it has to show up eventually. There's no getting around this law. Someone who imagines themselves failing will keep finding proof of failure, just as surely as someone who imagines themselves succeeding will watch their circumstances rearrange to support that success. The mechanism is identical either way. What changes is simply which belief you're feeding. Let go of the idea that reality is something fixed, something happening to you from the outside. It isn't. It's fluid, constantly shifting in response to the movements happening inside your imagination. What you're looking at today is really just a snapshot of assumptions you held a while ago, a delayed echo of states you used to live in. If you want something in your life to change, the real battle isn't out there in the world. It's the refining of your inner world that matters. Imagination isn't some throwaway daydream with no real weight to it. It's the actual force behind everything that's ever been created. Every invention, every work of art, every major shift in human history started life in the unseen space of a single thought before it ever took physical shape. Whatever you hold in your imagination with real conviction and faith will eventually harden into fact, just as reliably as the sun comes up each day. The real challenge isn't imagining something once. It's staying with that assumption even a lamb, when your five senses are telling you a completely different story. So many people give up on their desires simply because proof doesn't show up fast enough. They let doubt sneak in and let the outside world dictate what they believe, instead of letting their inner conviction shape what they experience. Don't let appearances sway you. What's in front of you right now is only the result of what you believed before. Hold firmly to your new vision, and the world around you has to shift to match it. Start now. Close your eyes and bring to mind a clear picture of your desire already fulfilled. Don't place it somewhere off in the future. Place it now. Feel it completely. Let yourself experience the relief, the joy, the excitement of it. Let that feeling become more real to you than anything happening in the physical world around and face you. When you open your eyes again, move through the rest of your day as though it's already settled. Speak, think, and act from that place of fulfillment. Doubt is going to whisper, trying to drag you back into your old patterns of thinking. Ignore it. The outer world might not transform in an instant, but it's already quietly rearranging itself behind the scenes to deliver what you've assumed. Stay with it. Hold on to the feeling. Trust that what's currently invisible is on its way to becoming visible, because that's simply how the law works. You aren't a victim of fate or circumstance. You are the one doing the creating. The very power that shapes entire worlds moves through you, just waiting for you to point it somewhere. Take charge of your imagination, and you take charge of your entire life. All change starts on the inside, and once you've mastered your inner world, the outer world has no option but to fall in line with your vision. The single biggest secret to bringing your desires to life isn't hard work, effort, or waiting around. It's assumption. Assumption is what bridges the gap between what's unseen and what's seen, between what's imagined and what becomes real. Simply wishing, hoping, or dreaming about a better life isn't enough. You have to actually assume that what you want is already done. The second you accept it as true inside your own mind, it starts to take physical shape outside of you. This isn't a maybe, it's a law. Most people spend their lives waiting for a sign, waiting for their circumstances to shift, waiting for permission to believe in what they want. But waiting itself is really an admission that something is missing. To wait for a thing is to confess that it isn't yours yet. And as long as you're holding that belief, your reality will reflect exactly that. The person stuck waiting stays stuck waiting, while the person who assumes they already have it keeps on receiving. You have to walk through life in the state of your wish already granted. That means moving through your days not as someone hoping things will get better, but as someone who has already received the outcome. If wealth is what you're after, ask yourself, how would you think, feel, and act if it were already in your hands? Would you still worry? Would you still doubt? Or would you settle into the certainty that it's already handled? If it's love you're longing for, are you sitting in loneliness? Or are you assuming the warmth of already being deeply cared for? Your reality bends to your dominant, ongoing assumptions, not to a passing wish here and there. To assume doesn't just mean saying affirming words or picturing something for a minute. It means embodying it fully. It's stepping directly into the reality of your desire as though it's already yours, and carrying yourself the way that version of you would. If you were already thriving, how would you hold yourself? If you were already living in the home you dream about, how would that feel as you move through your everyday routine? Would your posture shift? Would your thoughts sound different? Would you feel fulfillment instead of longing? That's the whole key. Training your mind to actually live in the feeling of already having what you want. The outside world is only ever a reflection. It doesn't generate anything on its own. It simply mirrors back what's inside you. Assume lack, and lack is what shows up. Assume fulfillment, and fulfillment is what has to be reflected back. There's no outside force deciding what you're allowed to have. There's only your own assumption. Don't wait around for proof. because proof follows belief, never the other way around. So many people fall into the trap of thinking, I'll believe it once I see it. That's completely backwards. You'll see it once you actually believe it. Reality has no choice but to conform to whatever you unleash, most consistently in your consciousness. If doubt shows up, don't entertain a conversation with it. Doubt is just your mind clinging to an old, outdated state you've already outgrown. Don't debate it. Simply return your attention to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You're not trying to convince the world, you're convincing yourself. And the moment you fully accept your new reality internally, the outside world will naturally rearrange to match it. Stay with it. The instant you assume something, a shift happens. You might not notice it right away, but unseen forces are already in motion behind the scenes. The world has to eventually yield to your conviction. Don't flip back and forth between belief and doubt, between assuming and second-guessing. Hold your ground. Whoever stays unwavering in their assumption will see it show up with total certainty. Your desires weren't handed to you by accident. They exist as an invitation to step into a new version of yourself, and assumption is the vehicle that gets you there. Nothing outside of you is blocking your manifestation. The only obstacle is your own reluctance to assume it's already yours. So right now, in this moment, assume. Assume the feeling, the knowing, the total certainty that what you want is already finished business. Carry that with you everywhere. Live from it. And watch the world rearrange itself to reflect the truth you've claimed. Time, in the way we usually think of it, is really just a construct, a framework invented to help us make sense of experience. In truth, there's no waiting, no striving required. There's only being. Once you learn to accept your desire as true right now, in this exact moment, you step into a space where the usual boundaries of time dissolve, and your inner conviction begins shaping your outer world immediately. Every single moment becomes another chance to affirm your reality, to choose the feeling of fulfillment instead of sitting around anticipating its arrival. Picture creation not as some slow, drawn-out process, but as an instant unfolding of whatever truth you're holding inside. When you fully immerse yourself in the present moment, and let your desired reality resonate within you, you stop being pulled apart by regrets from the past or worries about the future. You exist instead in a pure, unfiltered now, where your inner vision isn't being challenged by any ticking clock or turning calendar page. In this space, every breath becomes another confirmation that your desire is already real. The whole concept of waiting is misleading. It suggests something's missing, that some outside force has to step in, or that you have to somehow earn the right to experience what you're after. But once you understand that everything showing up outwardly is just a mirror of your inner script, waiting stops making sense altogether. It was never about grinding harder or enduring drawn-out struggle. It's about lining yourself up with the truth of your desire and fully inhabiting that truth. In that instant of alignment, the desire has no choice but to show up externally, because the reality you vividly imagined can't help but find expression in the physical world. When you embrace the power of the present moment, you free yourself from time's grip. Instead of letting the past hold you in place, or the future stir up anxiety, you stay rooted in the eternal now, the space where creation actually happens, where the picture of your desire held deep in your consciousness finally gets to come alive. As you accept your desire as already true, you move beyond the usual limits of time. The outer world, which normally seems to move at its own sluggish pace, is forced to catch up with the immediacy of what you already know inside. It's as though your consciousness sends out a signal so strong that it reshapes reality itself, to reflect the truth you've already established within you. There's real freedom in realizing that the power to manifest doesn't come from endless waiting or exhausting effort. It comes from simply being, from existing in the state of already having what you want. When you rest in the certainty of your wish fulfilled, your energy moves effortlessly, like a river finding its natural path without resistance. The struggle to close the gap between what is and what you want disappears the moment you fully claim the present moment. It's a kind of surrender that's also deeply empowering. You let go of the idea that time is delaying your fulfillment, and instead embrace the truth that every single moment carries the potential for instant creation. Notice how this shift in perspective changes your everyday experience. Instead of fixating on what hasn't arrived yet, you let yourself feel the joy and satisfaction of your fulfilled desire right now. That doesn't mean you ignore practical reality. It means you are no longer at the mercy of your external circumstances. Your inner world becomes your primary source of experience, and every thought, every action carries the feeling of completeness. With that kind of deep conviction, you move through life with a quiet confidence that nothing is missing, that everything is exactly as it should be. Tapping into the power of now connects you to a wellspring of creativity and possibility that's always available to you. Your inner state becomes fertile ground where every desire and every hope has room to grow and eventually blossom into your reality. The key is holding on to the present, recognizing that this exact moment is really all there ever is. Doing that honors the immediacy of your existence and sends a clear signal that your inner vision isn't some distant dream, but an eternal truth that demands to be manifested. Embracing the now means stepping into a reality where every instant becomes a celebration of your creative power. You become the author of your own life simply by accepting that what you rear after is already finished. And in that acceptance, you find the freedom to live fully, unburdened by time, unburdened by expectation. The power to build the life you want doesn't come from wishful thinking or sheer willpower alone. It comes from emotional certainty. The instant you feel, with total conviction, that your desire already belongs to you, the unseen begins taking on visible form. Your emotions are the bridge connecting what exists inside you to what eventually shows up outside of you. Once you master the ability to generate the actual feeling of already having what you want, manifestation becomes effortless, even inevitable. Your mind loves to play tricks, keeping you stuck in a loop of doubt and longing. You might visualize, you might repeat affirmations, but if some part of you still feels uncertain, if you start still feeling the absence of what you want, then you are actually reinforcing that lack instead of the fulfillment. The real secret isn't in the words you say or even the images you picture. It's in the emotion behind them. You can't just think about your desire, you have to feel it as though it's already real. Take a moment now and imagine your biggest wish has already come true. Breathe into that reality. What does it feel like? There's no tension, no worry, no second guessing, only relief. The longing disappears because what you wanted is finally yours. You feel grateful, not for something you're hoping shows up eventually, but for something that's already here. Your heart feels full, and you move through your day with the quiet confidence of someone who already has everything they need. That emotional certainty is what actually seals the deal. It's great. What turns an internal state into an external fact. A lot of people mistakenly think they need to see proof before they're allowed to feel certain. They wait for signs, for movement in their circumstances, before letting themselves feel good about it. But it actually works the other way around. The feeling has to come first, and the evidence follows after. The universe doesn't respond to vague hopes or hollow affirmations. It responds to a deep, unshakable knowing held within you. When you feel the reality of your desire with total conviction, the world has no choice but to mirror that back to you. Think back to moments in your life when you just knew something with total certainty before it ever showed up, maybe a job, an opportunity, or even a relationship you somehow just knew was yours. You didn't second guess it. You didn't need anyone else to confirm it. You simply felt, deep down, that it was already settled. And sure enough, things worked out. That's not coincidence. That's the natural law of manifestation quietly doing its work. Whatever you emotionally accept as real has to eventually show up outwardly, because your emotions are the creative force that brings your thoughts to life. Doubt is really the only thing capable of delaying your manifestation. When you keep swinging between belief and uncertainty, feeling the wish fulfilled one minute and fearing it won't happen the next, you're sending the universe mixed signals, and it can only reflect back whatever you're holding, unstable results included. But the moment you lock into the feeling of already having what you want, resting in the security that it's already done, it has no choice but to show up in your world. This is exactly why gratitude is such a powerful practice. It isn't a passive feeling, it's an active declaration of ownership. When you feel genuinely grateful, you're not yearning for something, you're confirming that you already have it. You're telling the universe, in effect, that it's already yours. And doing so invites it into your reality even faster. Gratitude clears out resistance, dissolves lingering doubt, and deepens your emotional certainty. It's the final stamp that says your manifestation is complete. Cultivating emotional certainty isn't about forcing a feeling that isn't there. It's about training your mind and body to genuinely live in the state of your wish already fulfilled. Shifting from wanting to having, from hoping to knowing. You build that by immersing yourself daily in the emotions of fulfillment. Wake up each morning feeling as though your desire has already been granted. Carry yourself throughout the day with the same energy as someone whose call, witty, received what they asked for. Go to bed at peace, resting in the assurance that it's already done. Your emotions are the key, the bridge, the final piece that turns your desire into reality. Thought by itself isn't enough. It has to be paired with genuine feeling. Hold that emotional certainty that what you want is already yours. And there's nothing in the universe capable of denying you. The world will shift, people will move, circumstances will fall into place, all in service of bringing forth what you said, already claimed internally. Once you've accepted your desire as real, let it go completely. Stop checking for signs. Stop questioning when or how it's going to show up, and stop arguing with your own belief. Needing proof or chasing after validation is really just inviting doubt back in. And doubt disrupts the natural process of manifestation. Real creation happens in a state of calm certainty, the quiet knowing that what you have imagined is already yours. Detachment isn't indifference, it's actually the highest form of trust you can offer. A lot of people struggle with detachment because they confuse it with giving up. They worry that if they stop thinking about their desire constantly, they'll somehow lose it. But it's actually the opposite. When you plant a seed in the ground, you don't dig it up every single day to check if it's growing. You trust the process, knowing that as long as the right conditions are in place, that seed will eventually sprout. The same principle applies here. Once you've accepted your desire as true, you have to give it room to manifest without constantly interfering. Clinging too tightly, obsessing over the timing, or endlessly hunting for evidence just tells the universe that you don't actually believe it real yet. Doubt tends to creep in quietly but powerfully. The moment you start wondering whether you're squirk, whether you deserve it, or whether the world will actually allow it to happen, each one of those thoughts directly contradicts the state of already having what you want. Would you really be searching for proof if you already had it? Would you still be questioning it? Of course not. You'd simply be living inside the reality of already possessing it. That's the energy you need to hold on to. The more you question, the more you delay things. The more you let go, the faster things tend to show up. Detachment doesn't mean suppressing your desires. It means surrendering them with total confidence. It's a shift from a mindset of waiting into a mindset of receiving. Waiting implies uncertainty. It suggests you're still hoping, still wishing, still unsure. Receiving means you already know it's yours. And because you know that, you no longer feel the need to go searching for proof. Just as you don't spend your day doubting whether the sun will rise tomorrow, you don't need to doubt that your desire is on its way. You trust that the moment you claimed it, it became real. And now it's simply making its way toward you, in whatever way is most natural. One of the biggest obstacles to real detachment is the habit of overanalyzing everything. People get caught up questioning every little detail, trying to map out exactly how things will unfold, or worrying about obstacles that haven't even shown up yet. But manifestation was never about micromanaging every step. It's about faith. The path your desire takes to reach you isn't something you're meant to control. It's something you're meant to allow. The moment you try to force it, you create resistance. So instead of trying to manipulate the details, step back and let things fall into place naturally. Rest in the knowledge that it's already being handled. Detachment at its core feels like peace. The relief of knowing your part is already done. Think about ordering food at a restaurant. You don't sit there constantly asking the waiter if your meal is coming, or worrying whether the chef remembers your order. You simply relax, enjoy the conversation, and trust that what you ordered is already on its way. That's the exact same level of certainty you want to cultivate around your own manifestations. Once you've assumed something as true, it's done. Your only remaining job is to stay in the feeling of already having it, not to keep questioning its arrival. Gratitude remains one of the most effective tools for detachment, because it places you directly in the state of already having. Expressing genuine gratitude for something is really an affirmation that it's good, already present in your life, and it's so. To feel both grateful and doubtful about the same thing at the exact same time. When you truly believe you've already received your desire, gratitude naturally follows.